Morning all, and welcome to today's Sunday Q&A. Sorry it's late, massive amount of people in the house, but before we go to that, let me start by saying Happy Father's Day to all you guys out there. Hope you enjoy your socks and your full pack of lager, and I hope you have a nice day. This t-shirt was my daughter's 2 years ago for Father's Day. Love it. It's sort of Avengers-y type thing, and it's my Sunday t-shirt. Which in fact you don't see, because normally I record Sunday Q&A on a Saturday. So I'm in my Sunday gear, which is nice. I think I've got to cut the grass, unless it rains. I missed it last week. And do all this, and then the rest of the day is free. Massive upheaval in the house because the kid moved out last week. Which meant I spent 8 hours last week attacking the garden because the grass was this high. And now we're changing things around in this house because she's moved out, so that bedroom's gone. So we sleep in different bedrooms because I snore and because I get up early, and she goes, my wife goes to bed late. So there's now that bedroom's been changed, and that bedroom's been changed. That was repainted. Spent all day yesterday repainting that. Looks nice. Looks very, very nice. Classy. But now I've got more space. And a wardrobe. Didn't have a wardrobe before, just had boxes under the bed. But so you don't care. But I just sort of let you know. So anyway, Sunday Q&A. Right, we'll start with the intro here, so those of you that want to skip it can skip it now. Maybe should have told you that at the beginning. Shane Hardy says, sorry I'm late, sorry it's late, sorry I'm late watching it. Sorry you're late watching it, sorry it's late again. Sorry if you're late watching it again. This could go round in circles. This week's video, let's get to the brass tacks here. This week's video was bedroom shippers. Basically people that aren't big organisations, just a one-man band. I call them bedroom shippers, but it might not be a bedroom, it might be a little office, it might be a box room. People that haven't really particularly got any vans, but have got customers. People say, I need this moving, I need that moving, and use a CX to move it. Are they necessarily a bad thing? Well, let's see what you said. Leachy says, I agree, there is nothing wrong with them whatsoever. I bet there are hundreds of shippers on the CX that don't have their own vehicles. I'm pretty sure Speedy Freight don't, as they're all a franchise. Does Speedy Freight actually have any of its own vans? I know you've got these Puro Ventures, isn't it? There's Speedy Freight Milton Keynes, Speedy Freight Northampton, Speedy Freight, you fill in the gaps, Newcastle. I don't know if they have their own vans. I think they were a subsidiary of Eddie Stobbart. I think because the lorry thing was working and they needed vans to move the stuff from the hubs. Probably wrong. Bear in mind that everything I say is wrong or largely erroneous, and I'm sure you'll fill me in on that one next week. But I don't know if they have any of their own vans. Can't say when I've been out and about I've seen anything with Speedy Freight sign written on the side of it, and yet they're probably one of the biggest posters on the CX, if you take it not as a franchise but as an overall. Yeah, interesting. Let's let the guys that know better than me comment on that one, and we'll probably pick up on that next week. At least she also goes on to say, says, you can be part of a syndicate and not even realise it. So I did a job for a shipper this week before, and just before I delivered it, the shipper called me and said the POD has already been done, and was then told to just call him once he'd delivered the item, which is odd and slightly scary, because what if you get there and they turn around and go, as I did on last job on a Friday, it's always last job on a Friday, yeah, that's not for us, mate. No, that's not going here. I'm like, oh, we've already said it is. But hey, I presume it went off okay, so it's worth that bullet. So Godzilla says, all right. Apparently a true story. He says, I've heard this from more than one source. Fellas posting jobs on the CX. He's well known to be useless when things go wrong, and also not great on the price he pays. One day he lets on he's not in the UK but in Spain in a rented villa, sat around a pool in a dressing gown with a mobile and a laptop. Turns out his business model is to pay local flyer posters to run around the estates posting through office doors offering a courier service. It's also assumed he's trawling the CX, noting the postcodes for likely places that use couriers to get info for the best places to flyer. Contacting legitimate courier companies, offer them work on the concept he has 30 vans, when in reality he posts on CX alone for drivers and he has none himself. Part of me says good luck to him and nice work if you can get it, but the other part of me says if you have any issues on when you're on, if the guy decides not to pay, what recourse do you have if he's not even in the UK? In fairness, what recourse do you have if he is in the UK? But yeah, I see what you're saying, and you're right. Theoretically, there is nothing wrong with it. There is. I've run it before. I've had international numbers. and the job's gone off okay. I don't like it, but in principle, it's where we live. We're into the modern generation, isn't it? You could theoretically live here all your life, have loads of people that you work for, loads of ship, done bedroom shipper thing, have loads of customers, and go, do you know what? I'm fed up with the cold weather. I'm fed up with the grey and the rain. I'm going to go and move to Spain. And then they just ring you, just the same. You get a phone call from your wholesalers in Luton saying, "Can I have an Arctic, please?" Yeah, all right, Barry. And then you put it on the CX. All right, Barry, Arctic's on its way. I don't need to be here. Well, I mean, when I post jobs and get vehicles in, I could just as easily do it from the dark side of the moon. Except you can't do it from the dark side of the moon because it doesn't have a signal. But you know what I'm saying to you? You don't actually have to be here. Interesting thought. Peter Franklin says, I think they are more likely to knock and disappear and then start up again, and maybe I'm wrong. Plenty of bigger companies keep doing this. The CX really needs to check out the companies instead of insisting on torturing us drivers with stupid trusted drive me mad. I've just been caught out again by another bedroom shipper who's done a disappearing act. All this could be avoided if the CX existed on a financial bond or a pot of money that shipper must have to put forward to cover courier invoices they owe. If you can't afford to put the bond there, you can't pay them as drivers, and therefore you won't be allowed to post loads. Again, that's not a bad idea. You have to sort of some kind of guarantee, or, and here's an interesting one for CX if they're watching, why not offer some kind of insurance? Why does does anyone do that? Some kind of insurance that you would pay on a monthly basis, that if someone didn't pay your invoices, like kind of, what is it, ATOL protected. So if your holiday goes south because the company goes down, then they go, we can have your money back. But I imagine it'd be a lot of money, wouldn't it? I imagine we'd all go, you know what? Yeah, okay, I'll have the insurance. Yeah, okay, it's $1,000 a week. How much? No, you're all right. I'll take my chances. Interesting thought again. Lots for discussion next week on this one, I believe. Yeah, lots coming up here. Neptune Curie, our man in Scotland. How you doing, mate? He says, I've been doing this for nearly 4 years, 3 on the CX, and in that time I worked for lots of one-man band shippers. In time, they've grown their businesses. My experience is these guys respect a driver that does a good job and remember you. Bedroom shipper or one-man band, no problem for me. He says, I've had 3 larger operations go down, earn me money, but so far not one-man operation. There you go. Ahmed Wardson says, I like this. I started as a bedroom shipper. I'm now turning over high amounts and employ 3 others. Always paying my bills, always respectful to driver. Viva bedroom shippers. And I've got to be honest with you, I agree with him. I mean, I know guys, my mate Teddy, who gives me loads out of Slough on a regular basis, and he's got a couple of vans. I think his brother works for him or his uncle or something like that. But he does a good job. He pays a decent price. He pays on time and he cares. And that's the thing. When you get a large company, you get faces, ringing accounts, and when you get one guy, mate, you've missed my invoice. Yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry. No, let me double check it. Send an email again. You've got more chance. When you've got a large company, you've got so much other things going on. I struggle with mine. Sometimes we struggle. There's so much going on, and it's just like people are going, what's going on? I go, look, I don't do this side of things. Whereas if it's just one guy, much more likely, I think. Much more likely. I don't know. Anyway, delivering to Harrods. Just one comment on this one. Leachy says, no, that wasn't Leachy, was it? I've delivering to Harrods. I put the wrong comment down. One of the guys did turn around, I'm not sure it was, and he said, isn't it lovely when you pull down the road and there's an empty parking bay just outside? Yeah, I've remembered it. It is, absolutely. I think I'm going to give a little bit of a break from the on the road videos. I tried to put them out because I kind of thought they might be of interest and go hand in hand with the fact that the TV thing's on. The TV thing went on once. 2 weeks ago, there was that motorway, Hell on the Highway. If you want to see me on the telly, you can get it on catch up. It's on 5, and it's called Motorway, Hell on the Highway, Series 2, Episode 1. And then I thought, right, that's it, series starts, 12 episodes, here we go. Next week it wasn't on, week after it wasn't on. And I know that they didn't put it on last year because it clashed with the rugby. And my wife turned around and she says, do you think they decided to put it because it clashes with the football? And I thought, do you know what they probably have? Why did they not see that coming? So it might be on after the football, or it might be on at Christmas, or it might be on when I'm dead. I don't know, but you can catch it on Catch Up, Channel 5, Motorway. What's it called? Motorway Hell on the Highway, Series 2, Episode 1, My Ugly Face. Right, the Wise Guys. Got quite a lot of the Wise Guys today. Kester Serekis says, I'm planning to start a courier business and insurance is a massive headache. Not one company can insure me for the courier business and small removals. Now, this is what we used to do. You sort of double prizes. You can get a small removal job. If you can't get a small removal job, you can get a courier job. It increases your ability to try and get some work. As I might be doing a bit of both. Is there a company that would be able to do both? So far, all brokers I've got in touch with are just not giving me the proper answers. So if anybody knows, I'm going to ask my son-in-law about this, my potential son-in-law, my future son-in-law, Dave, because he works in insurance. So I'm going to flag that one, ask Dave, see if there's anything he knows, and I'll come back to you if there is. If not, if anybody knows a company that does it, if we can pass this on to Kestis, that would be great. Thank you. iScarf says, I live in Milton Keynes, but my yard is in Toaster. This is to do with operator's license. Do I need to advertise in what local paper? If you want to, that's a good point. I believe you need to advertise in the paper of where the yard is going. Yeah, no, you do. So if you need to advertise in a Toaster local paper. If I'm wrong, which I usually am, let's get back to me quickly before he spends £300 on an advert. But I believe that's the case. So, because when we got the second yard in Coventry, we had to advertise in a Coventry local paper because they're the people it's going to affect. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to advertise in the local paper in Toaster, not Milton Keynes where you live. Because you could theoretically live in Newcastle and decide to start running lorries out of London. You wouldn't advertise in Newcastle, you'd advertise in London. Pretty sure that's the case. And Robert McGiven says, does anyone know, this is to go back to the occasional Cockney video I do, anyone know why a watch is called a kettle? A watch is called a kettle because in the old days it wasn't a watch, it was a fob watch. So it's kettle and hob, fob. I know, I googled it. I didn't know that off the top of my head. Do you know, I've got a question for the Wise Guys, one that always drove my dad mad. Why is it that a flat back in the days when you'd watch the Sweeney and they go, oh, I'm going back to my drum. Why is it called a drum? It used to be in the 70s you'd refer to it as a drum. And we never ever found out why. I think I've googled it, I don't know. If anybody knows why a flat is called a drum, let me know. Trucks. Jim on the Run says, I drive for a company that's got 4 brand new Merc 7.5 ton trucks. Last year, the build quality is shocking. Every week, the headlight bulb blows due to the fact they are shaking themselves to bits. I've been reported, and guess what? No action from Merc. I thought that Ivecos were bad for electrical faults, but Merc are a lot worse. The trucks are less than a year old. MPG on Mercs ain't brilliant either. Compared to others, I'd have a DAF any day. I always like DAFs. They are the workhorse of lorries. They might not be the slickest, they might not look the nicest, they look all right. They are shockingly bad on cup holders, but they just work. They go, they work. Parts are convenient. It's like the Transit, isn't it? It's like the parts are easy, parts are convenient. You know, they're not too expensive. They're easy enough to fit. I remember our mechanics saying, well, the thing about Mercs is they say, why add 2 bolts when 6 would do the same? Why do you keep him over engineering things all the time, like, you know? So, and that brings us neatly onto miscellaneous. Paul Oldfield said, now this was to do with the fact that we said, because it was an interesting question, I think it might have been Litchi put it forward. What happens if you get to the place and the place you're delivering to has just gone bust? That happened to him. He was about to deliver, said, no, we're all shutting down, mate. What do I do with these goods? Paul Oldfield says, if the receiver of the goods is not the shipper, your contract is with the shipper. So it doesn't really matter whether they're going bust or not because they're not the person that's employed you to deliver the goods. Is the person who's paying. The question is, though, if the person who's delivering the goods is the one who's paying, if the person who's sending the goods is the one who has to pay, then you'll get your money. If the person who is delivering the goods is the one who has to pay because they've ordered the goods, I need some goods delivered to our warehouse and then gone bust, then there's a chance why the shipper won't get paid for that job. And if he doesn't get paid for that job, you're less likely to get paid for it if it has a financial impact on him. Hopefully you'll be able to weather the storm. But Godzilla says, exactly the same. It says, company going bust at delivery. Your contract is with the shipper, not the place you're delivering to, so you will be paid nevertheless. it would be a massive courtesy to contact the shipper and state the case if it's going bump and the items are delivered. Once the items are delivered, they become assets not to be divided by the creditor. So chances are the items are going to be delivered are worth less, or are going to be lost. But if you return them to the sender for a charge, what he's saying is the 50% fee. He said, right, I can deliver. Ring your customer and tell him the place I'm delivering to has just gone bust. And say, with that in mind, does he still want me to deliver them? Because chances are I'll deliver these goods and he's never going to see the money for them. Alternatively, I can drive them all the way back, in which case he won't lose his goods. And I think that's a really good point. It's a courtesy, you wouldn't have to do it, but that is a really good point. And I think that's what you should do. Ring the shipper, and then the shipper will ring their customer, and then their customer can make a decision on what they want to play. Godzilla also says on the small vans, we have stuff on small vans, which is the best small van auto. Small van autos, not many around. You will pay a premium for the slushy box, and most tend to be private or very small company purchases, so high spec. Figure 2 or 3 times the price of a manual. And he basically says various different words which are funny, which I can't actually say out on the radio, on the podcast. Kill the box. So he's basically saying pug, not sure what that is, Citroen, and something Nemo, don't even know what that is. Kill a box at 100,000. Berlingos, etc. okay, but don't expect them to last forever. VWs are vastly overpriced but survive 200k of servicing. So the best one is a VW, but expect to pay for it. And then we've got a couple of other miscellaneous. On this phone, on the A14 5G, Sister Life says, I have it, it's garbage. I've got to disagree with you. I've had it for 6 months now, and okay, it doesn't sometimes work quite as slickly as the flagship ones I used to own, and okay, I cannot actually video the moon with my camera. I think that's the thing with these phones. You end up paying for a flagship phone 1,100 quid, and what you're paying for is the super duper camera lens. That's brilliant. I'm going to take photos in the dark and 8 times telephoto, and I can zoom on a speck of dust on the neighbour's roof. And what do I do with it? This. Don't need it. You're paying for something you never need and never use. Yeah, that's what I think. So I love this phone. I think it's great. And Zikar says, because I did a video on ratchet straps, you saved my life. Zikar, I'm just passing it on. When I started, I didn't know how to unzip a curtain. I looked at a video from Haley, the truck driver, who showed me how to do up curtains, and I thought, brilliant. Without that, I'll be stuffed. And then I did one myself, because then you kind of think there's a few bits that you forget when you do it every day. Do you link actually? A few bits you do every day that you thought as a beginner, oh Christ, what's going on here? But yeah, so that's it. And then finally this week, in conclusion, on the Cockney videos again, 10 Clone says, imagine if Cockneys had invented space travel with a countdown, what it would have sounded like. I think that sounds like a very short video. I've got an NASA t-shirt. I'll stick it on. Maybe put that on TikTok. We got TikTok as well. The links are all underneath the, sort of events. All I end up doing is posting everything twice. I did think I might do something different, but I'm lazy. And yeah, so that's it for another week. Happy Father's Day, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful time, and back to it tomorrow. Take care and take your money.